we must start on time. So I am happy to announce that yes, we are ready to go and all fired up. So a little bit about the session today. I think it's one of my favorite ones. We're talking about etiquette, we're talking about manners, and we're talking about how they're relevant actually in the most common situations that we face today. We've got with us my good friend Manik Kaur, who's a leading grooming and etiquette coach to schools, colleges, and corporates. Let me tell you, the first time I met her, I think it's almost been 3 years. I met her at a coffee shop. She was so poised, she was so beautiful. But more than that, she left such a lingering impact. I remembered her for days because with the calm confidence that she spoke, and she left that thing on you that yes, I want to know this woman more. So since then I've been very excited, and I told Manik even then I want to do something with her. And I'm very excited that Sipping Thoughts has been able to partner, and we've been able to bring you many different sessions with Manik. But right now it's 2021, so everybody says I should be who I am, I should just be able to speak my mind. And yes, it is absolutely true. But good manners and etiquette actually can make and break your success in social and professional situations. And it doesn't go out of style. But people have to remember this is not about being nice, but it's really about respect, mindfulness, and courtesy. In this session, we're really going to start to learn how to handle ourselves in the most common and relevant situations that we face. So Manik works with most of the premium educational institutes. She works with the Doon School, Welham Girls School, Welham Boys School, Scindia School, Modern School, Pathways, and this is just to name a few. Her articles are carried in Times of India, HT City, and of course, Sipping Thoughts and Ficky and many others. So first of all, Manik, a very warm welcome to Sipping Thoughts. We're excited to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Sukirti. It's my pleasure to be here with you all. And each time I've come here, I've felt so good. And I think it has made a tremendous impact on me, just the way you were mentioning about me. I think it's like much more than that. I always feel special coming here, connecting with women, and like your tagline goes, real women, real thoughts. And it's like connecting with real people who are just there to learn and evolve and grow. So it's a completely mutual feeling. I feel I evolve each time I'm here.
Fantastic. So Manik, let's just get right into the session. I think a lot of people will ask the same question. What is etiquette? What are manners? Are they both the same thing?
Super question, Sukirti. I think that this is the foundation of everything that we are going to talk about today. Because one thing I want to tell everybody out there who is tuned in right now, that this is not a preachy session. Okay, I am not here to give gyan like in everyday language like we speak. It's not here about giving some gyan or me being preachy about things, but it's just about knowing certain things about life, about yourself, and knowing what is etiquette and how it's applicable to you, and how you can make use of this in your life, and like I said, grow and evolve. So that's what it is, and this is the foundation of our session today. I will make you understand the term etiquette in the most simplest words, and it is just basically the way we do certain things. Okay, now it can be a set of guidelines, it can be a set of steps that we actually should be using so that our result is the best, or we leave an impact which is pleasing for ourselves and is pleasing for the people around us. So any action that is taken with a set of instructions or with a set of guidelines, or there are steps involved, if we follow that ideally, then we get a result which is 100% of that particular action or an experience. So that procedure is actually etiquette. I will just make you understand it even further and even simpler. If you have to compare, and you ask me what is the difference between manners and etiquette. So manners is essentially behavior. As simply we can put is this, that manners is behavior. It can be good or it can be bad. And etiquette is basically good behavior, which is followed through a series of steps, or keeping some things in mind. basically keeping certain guidelines in mind. When we follow that, that good behavior becomes etiquette. So, in other words, we can say that manners answer the question what is to be done, and etiquette answers the question how it is to be done. So now, if I have to give a practical example, I will say that um, suppose that when we meet somebody, we all know the minute we meet somebody, we are supposed to greet that person. Like if I am meeting you, I'm going to greet you. If you're my friend, Sukirti, obviously I will greet you in a different way. If you are my business colleague, if you are my work colleague, I'll greet you differently. If you're my boss, I'll greet you differently. So manners is simply that I have to greet you, and etiquette is how I have to greet you. So if you are, like I told you, if you are my boss, I will probably wish you good afternoon. If you're my pal, like you are, you're my buddy. So I'll just say, hi, Sukirti, what's up? So you see the difference? So that is what is etiquette. Etiquette is understanding the steps or guidelines to follow for a particular action so that it is 100% productive. So the either it's the experience or it is basically achieving results out of any situation in life. If we follow the right etiquette, we get 100% results. So in the most simplest way, I can say that etiquette, you imagine, is an instruction manual for every action in the world. It comes with it. It's just an instruction manual. If I have to explain in one word, for
Okay, a
and you
big
know that
instruction manual.
a big instruction manual. But the good news is, and it puts off a lot of people that, oh God, more rules, more regulations, more guidelines. Oh, it's horrifying. I mean, in today's world, everybody's so stressed out. So I'm going to come up with the same thing, because this is very important to understand that why we have to go through all this, because everybody's fed up of following. Nobody wants to feel suffocated. No, nobody wants to feel pressurized to perform a certain action. Everybody just wants to be free and do whatever they want to. So the next part of your, you've asked one question which has many parts. So I will come to this why, because this is important before we get into the session further to understand. So, like I said, it's an instruction manual, but it's a happy, friendly guide. So don't look at it as a horrifying thing. Look at it as a happy guide to make experience good. For instance, if we buy an appliance or if we buy a gadget, it comes with an instruction manual. Now it's your wish whether you want to use it or not, right? You can straight away start using the appliance, but you will notice that if you actually read the manual, the results are much better. It serves you, the appliance or the gadget will serve you much better. Same way, if you apply certain rules, and mind you, they are not difficult, they will leave a happy feeling within you also. Now, this is the catch. A lot of people say that, oh, karna hai to, it's going to be directed towards us. How is it going to benefit others? How is it going to benefit us? But the good news is that when we follow certain etiquette, it is not just pleasing for people around us, but it's also nice and pleasing towards us in the long run. In fact, even then it just leaves a lasting impression. It just opens all the doors for you which you never thought would open. I mean, I'm going to discuss all of that, all the advantages, but basically what I want everybody to understand is that it is a win-win situation, not just for the person who's at the other end or the receiving end, but also for the person who's following it himself. And everything in this world has an etiquette which is based on practicality. It's not based on a pretentious ground. It's not like most of us think that, oh, it is a fake thing, it's so fake, it's so plastic. But the truth is that actually it is based on creating a happy world, creating a happy world and making the whole experience more practical and pleasing. So this is what I want to just speak about etiquette and how it is different from manners and how it's applicable to all of us. We will discuss it more as we proceed into the session. But this is the base which I want everybody to understand. I might just add one more thing, Sukirti. I know it's getting a bit long, But these are the few basics. If we get them right, then everything else just falls into place. So I'm going to talk about this little question that I always ask in all of my sessions. And it's as simple as that: do you like learning about rules? Everybody says no. I'm sure whoever is smiling across, I see such cute faces. People are smiling, giving me smiles. It's so nice. Nobody wants to follow rules, I understand. But then the second question pops up, that how many of you feel disturbed or sad or hurt on a daily basis because of people's behavior? Believe me, Sukirti, almost everybody raises their hand. Every single day, we go through so many types of instances in life or incidents in our day to day life where we feel so hurt emotionally, physically, mentally, because of people's behavior with us. But we're not realizing that we are also people to other people, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So, the same way, if we don't know the etiquette or if we don't know how to behave ourselves, we don't know the right behavior in a particular situation, we end up hurting so many more people, so many people around us. And eventually, this world is becoming an unhappy place, isn't it? So that is what it's all about. And that is the reason why I got into this field also, because I was realizing it that a lot of us essentially don't even know about it. And we are not intentionally hurting people, but it is happening because we're not being sensitive about things. We don't know that this is causing the hurt, or we are becoming too careless or too carefree about things. So let's just bring back that culture where people cared for each other, and there was a feeling of mutual, I would say, empathy and compassion. And I think etiquette just is another word for it. So that's the base, I think, we all need to understand. And we all need to understand that it's a chain reaction. If we are putting out something there, eventually the universe is giving it back to us. It's coming back to us. And it's like a ripple effect. So if we will not do our bit, it's not going to happen from the other end also.
So
So
now let's
somebody
get
has to start.
started. I know a lot of people are getting very much like, okay, what are these? And as we promised today, we're going to go through a lot of common situations. These are the ones that at least, we feel that we face on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis. And please also do put in the chat your common situations that you would like to get answers to. I think for me, I mean, if I get started, the most difficult one is introductions. No matter what space of life you're in, whether it's in a formal setting, whether it's an informal setting, you could be in a big meeting and you're told, please introduce yourself, or it's on a one-to-one. So let's talk about what is the right way, how much time should you take, what should you be actually saying when you introduce yourself. Like in Sipping Thoughts, I didn't even introduce myself. So first of all, I'm Sukirti Gupta. I am the host of your session today.
Okay, super. You answered the question for me, Sukirti. I'll tell you how. So the most important, you did it so well. The thing is that you just have to remember it's a full topic in itself. And today, since we are taking so many more things, we want to cover as many topics. And I think today I'm going to touch about 3 or 4 most important things to keep in mind for every etiquette and every common situation and relevant situation around us. So coming back to the interview thing, I think what is most important to remember is that where are you, or I mean, introduction thing is that where are you? Are you standing amongst people who are known? I mean, people who are in a casual setup with you? Are you in a business setup? Are you in a formal setup or are you in an informal setup? First thing to realize and is this, that you should know where you are. Like right now, you are on this platform where all people need to know is that how are you associated with Sipping Thoughts, right? So you gave the bang on answer that I'm the co-founder of Sipping Thoughts and I'm your host today. And my name is Sukirti Gupta. Perfect. So it's just perfect. Nobody has the time to listen to long stuff. People just want an instant answer and quick pointers. So you have to divide your introduction into quick pointers understand who you are and where you have to, what is the relevance where you are. Like if I am going for a job interview and I have to give my introduction, I will first say my name. Of course, name is our identity. Number one, our name. Number two, I will talk about like which post like I'm applied for and why I've applied for, where I was working. We will talk about that because that's what they want to know. I mean, you just have to, they know it, but you just have to put it again that, hey, I'm here for this so and so job and I think I'm capable for this or whatever. It depends on where you are. But if you are in a social gathering and you have to introduce yourself, then you will of course again say your name, but this time you will not start telling about your educational qualification or the job you're interested in or why you are here. You will just say that I am so and so and I'm known to the host like that. And maybe you can say, like I will say my designation as, okay, I'm an etiquette coach by profession, I'm a homemaker, I know so and so, I know Sukirti like this. So this is how I will introduce myself. So depending on where you are, you have to see the most relevant 3 points, put them like in points like as short as possible and just say that. So that's the
Fantastic. No,
difference.
that really helps. And I think what you said really makes sense is in today's day and age, try to keep it short because you're right. Nobody wants to hear your entire history.
No one has the patience, right?
So let's talk now, Manik, about the second most common situation that we always get into. And at least I've seen this happening much more so in India, that we are always running late. We are late and we are coming up with umpteen excuses to explain to the world what is the right etiquette there. Because you also know the other side doesn't genuinely possibly believe you also that you know what, that what your reasons are for being late.
Okay, first of all, Sukirti, I think if you're running late, you know you're running late. It generally is not a last minute thing. Like if you're running late by half an hour, you know at least half an hour earlier that you're running late, right? So what you need to do is you need to convey that to the person on the other end, on the other end, as soon as possible. Like for instance, if I was supposed to go for a party and it's for 7 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock something comes up which is unavoidable, I must make sure that at 5 in the evening, whenever I know that I am getting late, I convey it to the host as soon as possible. So if it's just last minute delay, suppose it's a last minute delay, and if you are like today, it was with me and you, it was a last minute delay because I started getting calls from somewhere and I realized that, oh, my whole thing has just, my planning is not working now. So I just called you 10 minutes prior to the show that I'm running late. So the first thing is that you have to convey as soon as possible. If you know it in the morning itself that you will get late, then please put in a message to the person concerned that you will be late. That is the number one thing to do. As soon as you get to know, don't wait for the last minute. Don't reach the venue and say that, oh, I got late for so and so reason, because the host is going to be super occupied at that time and has no patience to listen to you at that time. And even if it's in a business setting, you must let the person know with your valid reasons, and it should be a valid reason. And when we are talking about traffic, somebody just I think it was very relevant to ask here. A lot of people very conveniently put it on traffic, which may be genuine, which may not be genuine. But this is not a genuine excuse, for the reason that if you know it will take half an hour, you have to keep 15 minutes in consideration, in that might just come across traffic as well. So you have to start accordingly, because you cannot give traffic as an excuse and expect the other person to stay cool with this reasoning of yours. So give yourself that traffic allowance, and you cannot use it as an excuse, because it will definitely irk the other person. Try and be on time and make sure that you convey it on time as well.
Now, my big pet peeve, you know, you're sitting at the dinner table, everybody is there, and people are just all looking at their phones. They're more interested in what's going on here than looking at you. A call comes, they're going to run, you know, and you're like, hey, listen, I made my time to come and meet you. But most of the time, even in a party, they're either spending their time clicking pictures, reading messages, so you feel that what is the right phone etiquette actually for today's generation? Because we know this is an absolutely awesome tool, but at the same time, sometimes you feel that you are not being put in importance, the gadget is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this is the biggest challenge that we are facing in terms of manners today. Because, I think everybody has, it's just everywhere. It's not just about, about, I would say, youngsters anymore. It's about all age groups. People used to just put it on youngsters. Oh, today's generation is totally into gadgets, that totally into their phones and laptops. But I think it's for all age groups. This is one challenge, Sukirti, that we all are facing. We're all in this together. And I think this stems basically from being insensitive. Let's face it. Okay. One thing is that we are insensitive. We are all becoming insensitive. And that's the whole idea of coming together for this session today. How we should open up this whole chapter, in our life all over again, and understand that there are a lot of feelings attached to things that we do. It's not just one activity, it's not just one thing that we are doing maybe at the table. Yes, it's against table manners as well to have your phone on the table, phone at the table with you. You have to put the gadgets away. Having now, this is one issue that is coming, and I think we should create awareness and sensitivity about the whole thing, that this is what is hurting us. You have to be vocal about it, and it is definitely a big no no. This is a big no no. Wherever we are going, people are, I think, even if two people are out on a date, I don't know what they're doing together there at a restaurant also, because both of them are clicking. Yeah, both of them are either clicking the food, or they're just trying to, click selfies there. They're just trying to post and tell the whole world that they're sitting in this fancy place on a date. So, the whole idea is defeated. What we need to understand is that this human to human connect is going missing. And this is happening, and it's definitely against etiquette. I think it's not just about etiquette anymore. It's about caring and feeling sensitive about each other. So you have to make sure that you tell people that no, please put your gadgets away. But having said that, I have to say this, I must add this, because I always look at the both the sides of the coin. Are we giving people comfortable, or I would say pleasing company? I'm telling you, I'm an etiquette coach, but I'm a human being also, right? I'm not perfect with everything. I have been told sometimes to put my phone away, and I've hated it. Why? Because I have once told somebody, I dared to tell that person that you give me better company, I leave it.
But now
So
that,
ironic, so ironic. Yes, but yes, at least at the dining table, when everybody is sitting together to have a meal, I would request everybody to try connecting, try bonding with each other, because that's precious. But having said that, the human to human connect, the feelings, the kind of conversations we are making, it is not fulfilling anymore, Sukirti. And people are finding solace, people are finding comfort in this. Why do I blame people? I don't really want to blame people sometimes. So I think
so
first we have
my next question relating to that: what if you have a genuine emergency and do need to use your phone? What's the proper etiquette for that?
fantastic question and very relevant. Now, what you need to do is you need to tell wherever you are, you need to tell people that I'm expecting an important call. Put the phone away. It should not be visible for sure. Keep it in your pocket, where you can hear the phone ring, or you can feel it vibrate. And as soon as you get a call, you need to first inform the people around you that you are, especially your host, that you're expecting an important call. And as soon as you get that call, please don't remain seated over there. Move, go attend the call in minimum possible time, and come back.
Now, my third question related to phone, because this is the one that's the most annoying. You're sitting on a train or you're sitting on a plane and you can hear the entire third party's conversation because they are so loud, but you don't know what to do.
Hmm. So, yeah, right. So you can politely ask the person that I think I could just hear your entire conversation. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But sometimes you can be a bit naughty also there, I mean, and polite at the same time. That I would really request you to be soft, because people can hear you. If you don't want to say for yourself, you can say people can hear you. So I think that will ring an alarm in the other person's head. If you just say, please talk softly, it's not going to work. If you're going to say that, I think people can hear everything what you're talking. So it'll be a good idea if you could just talk a little softly. So I think that person will get the message. And that's a very polite way of handling the situation. And you can definitely go up to the person and request.
Now, the next one that comes also from Zoom, and Sukriti is also asking it, my namesake, video etiquette, Zoom etiquette. What is the right Zoom etiquette?
All right. So now it's a full workshop in itself. But the basic 2 3 things that I also learned along the way is that you have to be seated in a way that you are visible. Don't sit in a shady place in the house where, or don't sit in a place where you are not even visible to your audience. That's very important. And don't switch the camera off when you need to be when you need to keep it on. It's very impolite, because I have attended a lot of webinars where people very conveniently, I don't know what they were doing, they were there like per se, but I don't know if they were there. So that's very rude for people who have their cameras on. What about those who don't have? So you'd have to see that if it demands you to be there on the video itself, video as well, then you better have your camera on and be appropriately dressed. That's been a very big
And
faux pas
appropriately
in
seated.
COVID times.
Because we see people sprawl.
Yeah, this is nothing. I've seen people fighting, and the spouse. All sorts of funny things have been circulating. Also, like all of us know. I mean, I've seen people who are dressed only on the from the top, which is okay, but don't get up then. Don't get up. If you know you're dressed appropriately only, from the top, then you just stay seated. You remain seated. There's no problem. So that's what I tell people: adopt etiquette, suit it to your convenience. Don't get carried away. Thinking that, don't just take one step, don't refrain from taking even one step, that, oh, there are too many steps to follow. If you can't follow 10 steps, follow 5, but at least follow something, rather than feeling scared of and feeling very feeling discouraged about following 10 steps. Don't follow 10 steps, but follow 5 which you are comfortable with. That is also going to make a difference.
No, but I
So
like the one about the camera. And like I said, be prepared. If you know, at least even if it's a family call, people want to see you. I mean, if they wanted to hear you, they would not do a Zoom call. They would not want to do a FaceTime video. They will say, okay, let me just call. So
make
if
an
people
effort.
are wanting you on Zoom, they probably do want to see you.
Yes, make an effort, and also make sure that the other person stops speaking once you start speaking. Make sure that the other person's done with his bit and then speak. Otherwise, I've attended a lot of calls where everybody is talking and no one can understand who's talking what. So wait for your turn, be patient, be polite. That's more than enough.
The next one, this one is a more of a sensitive one, but I think because of the situation that we're in right now, we are again getting into the case where we are finding a lot of people have COVID, are COVID positive, possibly may not be doing well. Your friends may have it, and you don't know what is the appropriate response that you should have in this situation.
Okay, now that's also very relevant. But I think by now all of us have found our way around it. But still, since you have asked me, Sukirti, I would just say that understand your relationship with that person, first of all. How comfortable you would know that how comfortable the other person is addressing the issue. Like, I know of people who get very, very worked up if you ask them too much about their well being. And on the other hand, in fact, I did this mistake myself. Like, I did not message a friend for the longest time, or did not call her for the longest. This was initially when COVID had just started. I got to know through somebody that that person's got it, and I refrained from getting in touch with that person, because I didn't want to create that that panic in her mind that, oh, people have started calling her frantically and everybody's come to know that I've got COVID, because initially it was a very big scare. People were acting as if somebody's got a disease which is like, you shouldn't even come near that person should be thrown out of the planet only, like, how people were reacting. So I did not connect with that person for a long time. And later on, when she got okay, she said, you didn't even call me, you didn't even find out how I was doing. That is the time when I needed you all. So I learned my lesson that way. What essentially we need to know is that the person who's suffering from it, what is that person's frame of mind, or what is that person's mindset or way of thinking? What is the relationship with that person we have? If it's somebody very distant, even a text will do. You can text and you may ask that, if you are comfortable, can I give you a call at this time? Would you like to connect? So a lot of people say, I'm feeling very weak, I will get back to you, or something like that, whenever I feel like talking, which is fine. So just go by the other person's way of, you approaching them. You can approach through a text very easily, which is, I think, comfortable, and then leave it to the other person.
I know this is a very tough situation. Now, I'll come back to one that, of course, whenever we think about etiquette, we think a lot in terms of food and eating and dining. So, what are some basic etiquettes that we should know in terms of going out to a restaurant?
Okay. So again, it's you started on a very, I would say, a note which is like, yeah, very close to my heart also, because a lot of people say that, are, you are just going to teach about knife and fork, and वही कांटा छुरी से खाना ही तो etiquette होता है, like, and it's so bugging, it's so boring, it's so, dated. I know what all people say, but the thing is, like I always say, etiquette is not just about a knife and fork and knife. No, it's not. But if you can handle a fork and knife nicely at the table, what's the harm? I just say, what's the harm? If you know, it's like a skill, right? Like anything in the world, like we say for different kinds of sports, we need to open our mind to the whole idea of learning different things. And what we are learning through dining etiquette also is a skill. And what happens is that if you have any skill, security for that matter, any skill in that for that matter, even if you know how to do dusting, basically of your house properly, that's also a skill. Even the smallest of things is skill. So the same way, knife and fork thing is also, I want to tell people that it's skill. And when you are performing something nicely, it puts you in a, it makes you, it just lifts up your personality. It just gives that feeling that you are groomed, you are polished, you come across as the best version of yourself. One thing. And that is the base of how we should be behaving when we step out to dine. The first thing that I notice in India is that we normally take dining very casually, which is fine. But don't take it too casually just because you will not be thrown out of the restaurant for not being dressed appropriately. At least be presentable. The biggest thing is, number one, this, that people are not even presentable. They will just show up in their track pants, and which I feel, certain places are okay with. But I still feel that you should try and make an effort. Again, it's all about making an effort, because it's going to work for you, not for the restaurant people. It's only going to add to your charm. It's only going to add, like you and I met at a cafe, and that day I was coming back from a session and I was dressed for a session, and you liked the way I was dressed, right? And I liked the way you guys were also dressed, because you were also gearing up for a session at that cafe. So it just leaves a pleasing effect on people around you, for you, and it just works for you also. So like that. One thing is this. Second thing, behavior in any restaurant, I think, when it comes to a lot of us, is very sad, because we tend to just throw our weight around when we enter a restaurant. Especially, I always say this, that people who cannot behave nicely with wait staff cannot behave nicely with anyone. They don't have respect for anyone. They just know where they can, use their I would just say they just don't know how to respect people. So that is the first indication of where the person stands, how the person treats the person who is not at the same level as himself. So I think that's a very big indicator. So even if you're dressed in branded clothes, it really doesn't matter. Like my first point was dress up nicely. Even if you're dressed up from head to toe in branded stuff, and you are treating people in a mean way, in not so polite way, I think nothing is working for you. Nothing at all. In fact, you've put everything into a negative situation. So that is important. Do not call the wait staff by whistling or by, doing or excuse me, going on calling. Don't do that. I'll just give a practical tip here. Just make a signal like this and wait for the eye contact to happen. The wait staff will come to you. Also, do not start saying waiter, waiter, which a lot of people do. Don't do that. Nobody wants to be addressed like that, believe me. And always remember to be empathetic that if you were in their place, everybody is working to make ends meet. Remember that. Then, next thing I would say, be patient. And before that, my favorite thing that all the kids laugh when I do it in kid etiquette, because I ask the kids, the napkin bit. See, there's so much to discuss in restaurant etiquette. I'll just be able to take 2, 3 points because we don't have that much time, right? So, talking about napkin, a lot of us have seen people tucking the napkin here. So I ask people that somebody has an uncle like that for sure. So, so most kids say, yes, yes, we've seen, or somebody some kid has seen, or someone, I mean, we guys have seen people, sitting on our table or near our table. Somebody is there who has actually tucked in the napkin like that. So one thing is that, then don't just be patient for your order to arrive. If it's got late, then be polite and ask about it. Don't start shouting and screaming. And then as and when your order arrives, how you should behave with the wait staff again, how you should be using the napkin, all these things are important. And when you leave, how you should be leaving. Of course, when you are at the table, you don't have to make so much noise, because that's also one very common thing. People think it's cool to be, loud and, discussing all of that. But try and keep the volume to minimum. Don't disturb people or the guests on the other table. So these are the things which are primarily, I think, to be kept in mind when we step out for dining anywhere.
Well, thank you. But one more situation that makes us a lot uncomfortable, and Pallavi has also asked this. When we have been invited to a party where we have to go with our significant other, we might have to go to a work do. So many situations arise where we don't know anybody else there. How do we introduce ourselves? How do we strike up a conversation? Otherwise, sometimes you feel like you're an addition. You just have to latch on to the person you went with.
Okay, very nice question again, Sukirti, and very relevant. It's not difficult at all. We call it small talk. The technical term is called small talk, how to make small talk, and it works everywhere, believe me. And it's not difficult at all, and not difficult at all for even introverts. Like, it's that simple. How do we go about it? I think the best thing is, number one, smile, which is like a killer move. Okay, because that makes you approachable. Number one thing is that makes you approachable. Of somebody who's just otherwise, if you're not looking pleasant, or if you're not smiling, people won't even if they know you, they don't want to approach you. Forget about unknown people or people you're not known to. Keep a smile on your face, number one. And then just look around. The best part about smiling is, Sukirti, that if you smile at someone, like right now, I see such beautiful smiling faces on the screen, which is just giving me so much energy right now. I mean, I'm so glad all the smiling ones are here on the tab. It's so welcoming, So, and the good part and the most magical part about smile is that when you smile, instantly, intuitively, it's a human reaction that the other person smiles back. It works with most people. So when you just look around and smile at someone, the other person smiles back, the connect is made. You've done the first part. You're into the second part. You go, whoever gives you the smile first, whoever reciprocates, go, move yourself, come in close proximity with the person, as in, like, come closer, start saying that hi, and start introducing yourself. Like I told you, if it's a social gathering, you can just start off by saying this, my name is so and so, and you are, and that person will obviously introduce herself or himself. And then you get on to saying the first question that always works is, how do you know the host? And how, okay, all right. And then, in from that fun line, you can make 100 more conversations from that line. Like, suppose you say that, oh, I know the host through my sister, who's also, like, whatever. So then I'll pick up something from that line and make the next conversation. So soon you will see that there is so much to talk, and sky's the limit. And this is how, and that person might just say, oh, see, meet my sister, she's here. And then you have more people to talk to. And suppose nothing works, then you've done your bit and nothing is working, you go back to the host, meet the host, and just say that, hey, do you think, who should I meet and who should I talk to? I think the host will help you further if nothing at all works. But I think this should definitely work.
Now, another area, and I know we're getting a couple of questions on that, that we're very, very uncomfortable is that interview. So maybe let's go through that a little bit more in detail, because a lot of times when we walk into a situation where we are being interviewed, we don't know how to react or how to introduce ourselves there also. And I know I've asked this, but we're getting that request again.
No, sure. So interview is a very big thing for, it's a full topic in itself, and it has hundreds of things to actually think about. But again, coming back to the most important ones is, but I will give a secret, like they say, secret sauce. If you ask every image consultant, any etiquette coach, everybody will give you those standard points. But I have something to add to all of that, because I have used it myself. So that I take a lot of pride in. And I would just say that 2-3 things to keep in mind. Number one, if you're going for an interview, you have to dress up well. Dress up well. Number two, you have to keep in mind that you have to smell fresh. You don't have to, but you don't have to go overboard on perfume or cologne or whatever you're wearing, because a lot of people commit that mistake. And especially in summer, I think I know so many people who lost out on this because they were not up on the personal hygiene bit. So you make sure that you are dressed well, but keeping in mind that you are dressed for the occasion, you are dressed for the weather. If it's summer, please don't show up in a blazer. If it's winter, do not show up in a sweater, in a half sleeve sweater or something. Like, be formally dressed, because an interview is a formal occasion, a formal event. You have to be dressed up formally. Then personal hygiene is very important. Sometimes all your clothes are on point, but your personal hygiene is zero. People can smell you have your body odor. That's a very big turn off. Then I think what is important is that you should have all your documents in place. That's also very, very important. All your papers in one place. You should not be fumbling through things. You should know your introduction by heart. This is a very, very key point, because most people come prepared for everything, but they don't know anything about themselves. Because this is the first question anybody will ask you. Tell me something about yourself. Yeah. You don't have to start thinking at that time. You have to prepare something, mug up those lines, for heaven's sake. I'm being brutally honest here. Mug up those lines, but learn them nicely. Like, don't mix up and in nervousness. So don't get mixed up. Just say those lines confidently. Half the battle is won. Then very important thing, which I was saying, that was my personal add-on, is that when you are in the waiting room, a lot of companies, high flown companies, are now, they have a camera there. They're observing you, how you are behaving. All right, because everybody knows all the hacks. I'm not the only one telling it here. Everybody knows it. It's there on Google also. Everybody comes dressed nicely. Everybody has the papers. Everybody has everything. Shoes are polished, all of that. But how you behave, I think it was in one of the movies also, Sukirti. And
Yes, when no one is watching, but the camera is.
everyone's
Big
watching.
brother.
Yeah, I think I saw in Love Aajkal, if I'm not wrong, the new one. So I think before she enters, this girl, Sarah, she just I think she moves her blouse or something like that. And later on, the guy asks her, "Why did you do that?" And she had no idea that people have caught her. So this is the secret sauce. Be very careful when you are in the waiting room waiting for your turn. Be courteous, be polite, just see what is, don't misbehave with things, which are lying around you. I've seen people who are fiddling around with magazines because they don't belong to that person, so they just think that, oh, they can use, they can flip through the pages in a very careless manner and things like that, but everything is getting noticed. And I think it's not just about the job, it's not just about making an impression, it's about respecting your surroundings, respecting people around you. So I think that's the secret sauce. Be polite to people, be nice when you are even in the waiting room, and your body language should be on point. I think
I
that
like the fact that you said mug it up, mug up that intro.
mug
Because
it up. Yes. So you will be flawless. You will be flawless, and that really makes an impact.
now, two situations, both of which are very, very difficult. You've committed to do something, but you're unable to do it. And the second one that is more difficult is you know you will not be able to do something, but you're unable to say no.
Okay. First, I'll take the second one. Okay. Never say yes when you just can't. Never commit. Never. Because it's going to be even worse saying no later on. It's going to be more detrimental. It's going to be detrimental for your image. It's not going to be good. Committing something which you can't deliver. Having said that, if you think you can give it a try, then mention it. I don't want to discourage people outrightly. Don't be that, you shouldn't try. You should try. What you can actually do is that just say or ask if you can give it a shot and not commit 100%. First of all, you should never say yes when you want to say no. Like they say, don't say yes when you want to say no, because that's a very unhappy situation for your mental well-being as well. Say yes when you are totally convinced about it. That's going to give the best results. Now, even if you're not sure, if you're not sure, then you mention that you're not sure if will you be able to do it or not. Mention it to the person concerned and see the reaction, and then go ahead. That would be the right etiquette. And the first thing was that when you're not able to,
When you've committed something,
deadline,
but then
yeah,
you're unable, yeah.
you're not able to meet the deadline. So I think, again, for the same kind of question, if you're running late, you would know that you're not able to. Maybe a day prior to that, you'll know so much is left. Like if you're preparing for exams and 12 chapters are left, so in a day it's difficult to cover those 12, right? You may cover 4 next day, but there is no way it can be completed in another day. Then you let the person know as soon as possible. As soon as you realize that it's going to be difficult. Don't wait for the last minute and say that, oh, I thought I'll be able to do it, but I couldn't do it. So let the person know well in time. As soon as you realize that, it's a difficult situation, you mention it. And I think you should have your valid reasons for it as well.
Now, the other one that's also very difficult is when you disagree with someone. What is the right way? You don't want to be a pushover. You don't want to just say, okay, chalo, theek hai, let me not. But you do want to bring your point across, but you strongly disagree with someone.
Okay. Now, this is something which is very common these days because hardly we agree on other people's perspective. It's very difficult. Yeah, even in a family of four people will be thinking four different things.
That is very true. Very
And
true.
kids included, mind you. Kids included. They have a mind of their own as well. So this is something very, very common and very relevant with what you've asked me. But the magic word is, I think, here is that you just have to say, okay, all right, but I beg to differ. Or you can be polite in saying your opinion and not give in. I don't think you should give in, because giving in is very, very frustrating. It may work once, it may work twice, not not every time. Just say that no, this is not what I appreciate. Like, there's always a good way of saying things that the other person doesn't get offended, but you should definitely say what you feel, speak what you feel, and not mince your words. Be upfront but be polite. Just say, I really appreciate what you think, but I have a different opinion on this. If you say, I can just tell you what I feel about it, let's just discuss it openly. And you may or may not like it, it's all right, but this is how I feel. You can just be open about it, but be polite.
Now, some troubling situations that we always get, of course, the ones that are hurtful, when somebody gossips behind you, behind your back, when you have not been invited to that party. These are the ones that kind of cause you the restless nights, or that you have actually done something and don't know how to apologize.
Super. Again, so many questions in one question.
Sorry.
I just love it. But the beauty is that they're all interconnected. A lot of them are interrelated as well. So, but I'll start with your first question, that if you have had a fight, right? You've asked me, or if you don't agree on something, and what was your first question now, Sukirti? You have to tell
The
me again.
first one is that, of course, somebody is gossiping behind your back.
Gossiping, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
The second one is you've not been invited. The third one is you've done something but don't know how to apologize.
Right. So the first one, somebody is gossiping about you. Now, whoever has told you about it is also a gossip monger.
I
Isn't
think
it?
we're all guilty to some.
Somewhere. Let's face it. Let's face it, guys. Right? This is a fact. So, like I always say, ignorance is bliss. Number one, if you know it, it's gonna kill you, give you those sleepless nights and restless nights you're talking about. Sometimes it's good to not know only. But if somebody has come back to you, that someone's gossiping about you, that person is also getting up from a place like that, right? You have to understand that first. And I think, Sukirti, this is a very deep rooted thing. You have to understand, it's a deep thing to understand here. I want everybody to listen to this, because this is what our world is suffering from today. This is a very big issue. And if you ask me, more than knife and fork, I'm not concerned about that so much, because it's not a part of our culture and Indian culture as much, to use knife and fork in our day to day life. But what is happening in today is that that etiquette that we all need to learn is basically what you have talked about just now. Behavior. Behavior, and this kind of toxicity that has come up, this kind of toxic environment that has built up. I had not heard as a child, I have to tell you this, I'm going a little off track, but I have to share this here, that I had not heard of toxic people term in my life. I only knew that factories give out toxic waste. Pollution gives out toxic waste. I did not know toxic people भी कुछ होता है. Like toxic people भी होते हैं. क्या होता है toxic people? Like of late, I got to know few terms like that. Why? Because this whole culture is building up where we are getting restless nights over it. Come to think of it, it's a deep thing. So this is what is bothering us. This is what is etiquette all about. This is what I want etiquette as a culture to come in, not knife and fork. I want people to understand and associate etiquette with compassion, empathy, and mindfulness. So that is why the name of my page is Mindful Living, because it's about mindful living. Etiquette is all about mindful living in terms of behavior. And I want to add something here. Just allow me 1 minute for that. That just imagine a tree in front of you, and behavior is the roots of that tree. At the roots is behavior. And as the tree propagates, as the tree goes up, the branches are different types of behavior. If it's gossip, if it's gossip, if it's criticism, if it's toxicity, what is coming out of it is unhappiness. The fruits are from those branches. The fruits are unhappiness, restless nights, mistrust, loneliness, emptiness, all of that. Maybe many more things, many, many more things. What was the thing at the base? Behavior. What is love? Love is behavior. I know you love me when I see you talking nice stuff about me. Isn't that your behavior towards me? Isn't your behavior, you smiling at me? Some lovely people here are smiling at me. Isn't it their behavior towards me, which is showing me their love for me, right? Everything boils down to behavior. So, Kirti, everything boils down to behavior. And what is etiquette? Etiquette is the fertilizer for behavior. Now, if I have to add fertilizer to the roots, that means if I'm adding etiquette to the behavior, the branches change, the fruits change. This is why etiquette is important. I'm going back to that question in this way, and I'm linking it to the question you asked me just now. That is where etiquette is going to step in. That is where it is going to benefit all these people who are here in this at this time and not resting in their, like taking a nap in the afternoon. They are here. They are here for this. So now I'm going to talk about,
When, yeah, when somebody does, first of all, may I ask your permission that we actually, I know it's 4:56, if we can
oh,
go, yes, if we can extend the session by 10 minutes so that
let's
we
do
can
that.
finish this.
Let me just finish this because this is the crux of the whole thing. And this question that you asked me, Sukirti, let me answer this. I think hopefully it will take care of a lot of other things. So I'll just go back to this behavior thing that you asked me. If somebody is gossiping about you, now how to handle that situation? First of all, realize that the person who's come to you has also got up from a place like that and probably is doing that everywhere, and could be a good friend of yours also who's giving you a heads up, or he's warning you that listen, these things are being said about you, be careful. It can be both the things. So don't be blind. I know so many people who are blind to the so-called friends, but those friends are in for some kind of benefit, and they are just making up stories against people who you don't like so that they can step in. Understand what I'm saying?
Some people just love chaos or
Yeah,
creating.
some people like, and some people are, a lot of people, some people like chaos, a lot of people are manipulative. Let's understand that. They want some benefit out of you and that person not getting along. Okay. Now you have to be rational enough to understand whether this thing has happened, whether you want to believe it or you don't want to believe it. But if you are convinced, if you're 100% sure that that person has been gossiping about you, then there are two things, there are two ways to handle it. Number one, you ignore it completely because it's about them, it's not about you. Let them do. How, where all will you go? Where all will you go and give your clarification? Where all will you go and where all will you go and fight? There's no, don't waste your energy on it. It's not worth it. Somebody who's gossiping as it is doesn't belong in your life. So if you can do away with it, nothing like it. But if that person means a lot to you, in that situation, you text that person or you call that person and say, let's meet over coffee. Sit down, chill, relax, and bring it up in a very soft way and say that, hey, do you feel like that? Or I mean, address that issue in a very soft way and see for yourself and go ahead further. And now, if you're not invited to a party, I think a lot of people need to understand this because this is causing a lot of grief.
Especially now in COVID times when there's only 100. Sometimes I feel it's good I'm excluded.
Only 100. Only 100. See, I always say this is also one of my favorite lines that you cannot be everyone's cup of tea and everyone's not your cup of tea, right? Everyone's not yours and you cannot be everybody's. Don't try to push in where you are not craved. If you mean to someone, that person will call you. And if that person's not calling you for some reason, that's his problem. And if you are okay with that person, you don't hold any grudge against that person, you may still call that person. You don't have to go about taking revenge, which a lot of people say, okay, that person's not called me, now you watch, I'm going to throw 10 parties and not call that person. I know, I've been everywhere. So I would just say don't waste your precious energy on these kind of things. Life is much more than that. Make a life for yourself, build a mindful life for yourself where you really find joy, which what really gives you happiness. These things will not matter only.
And the last one, when you have to apologize, how to do it.
Okay, so I think it's not tough. If you know, if you are ready to, if you don't have an ego problem, apologizing is not tough. If you've understood you have done something wrong, it's not tough. The easiest way is first to convince, I think the first convince yourself whether you want to say sorry or not. Put yourself in that person's shoes and feel it. The minute you will be able to feel it, you will be able to do it like this. You don't need an etiquette coach to tell you the steps. If you can feel it, if you can feel that you've done something wrong, you will go all out and do it, and you will do it flawlessly. I believe that. But in case I have to give steps, I think I would just say that find a place. If you are not comfortable saying it in front of everyone, wherever you've realized it, just meet that person, open up to that person, and give your apology. I think nothing was more beautiful than honesty and owning up.
Now, my last one, because more and more we're moving towards a shared economy, the borrowing etiquette.
Okay, I did a reel on this and I got a lot of, a lot of people said that, oh, yeah, borrowing etiquette. I'll just quickly, because we are running short on time, I'll just quickly say that first of all, whoever you borrow thing from, whatever from, you must mention why you need it. What is the desperation that you have to borrow it? And why you can't buy it or purchase it, or why you must take it from that person. You have to convince that person first that, oh, I really need it badly. And then, of course, tell when are you going to give it back. Maintain it as well as you can. I mean, you really have no choice there. You cannot, because I know a lot of people who don't maintain the that particular thing and return it back on the same day that you promised, if not earlier. And in case you are borrowing a vehicle or something, that you are, a lot of people take a bike or a car from somebody, make sure that you get the fuel tank full, or at least as much as it was there. Don't return it empty. That is very rude thing to do. So I think just stick to these things and take care of that belonging as if it was your own.
Now, Manik, two last tips before we go. One is how to say bye, because this becomes also the awkward. We know how to say hi, but we don't know how to say bye. And the second one, any last tip you'd like to leave us with?
Okay. So, how to say bye? Very interesting, actually. One thing I want to tell a lot of people don't know about is that if you're leaving early from a place where there are hundreds of other people, or there are maybe 50, like in COVID times, only 100 more people there. So, then what you just need to do, or maybe more people I mean, it's not just you guys, there are many more people who are actually staying on, and you have to leave. You must make sure that you don't start saying your buys in front of everybody, because it disrupts the whole flow of the party, and other people also start thinking about leaving. They start thinking that, oh, this person's leaving, hum bhi jaye, and it just is a little uncomfortable situation for the host who has organized the whole thing. If you must leave early, you just quietly go to the host in a corner and mention that we are just leaving quietly. And if the host is very, very busy, don't disturb the host. Maybe you can text next as soon as you reach home that we had to leave under an emergency, or this was the reason, and we didn't want to disturb you. You were very occupied, and we didn't want your party to break. Because what happens is when people start leaving, other people also start leaving. That's something very important. A lot of people don't know that in the middle of the whole thing, somebody will just come and say, okay, we have to leave. And the whole crowd starts, staring at them that, oh, this couple is leaving. Don't do that. Also, when you have to say bye, you must thank the host for all the effort. Make sure that you say kind words to people, kind things about the party or the gathering, or whatever time you have spent with the person, and leave politely.
Thank you, Manik. That was an excellent session. Any last tip that you would like to leave us with as we end for today?
Yeah, I think, Sukirti, like I have been saying all this while, that it's not about rules and regulations. I want people to understand that somebody has to start. Somebody has to start for their, and you are starting for your own sake. You have to remember, if that works, that you have to start thinking that if we are going to be nice, things are going to change around us. One very important thing that I personally want to share with everybody is, a lot of people tell me that, Ari, we are doing everything right. We are doing everything right. Why is happiness not coming to us? Why are things not happening for us? So then we just feel like, oh, forget it. We'll do what we want to do. I just want to say one thing, that there is one possibility why things are not happening or why you're not still happy is that you may not be doing or harming someone directly. You may not be doing it directly, but if you're supporting someone who's doing something wrong, by being quiet, by supporting that person, there is one person in the group who is not following kind behavior. You are not being rude, or who's being unkind to somebody. You are watching there because that person's your friend. You're not speaking up. You are a party to it. You are a party to that behavior, and you are no less, because you are giving strength to the wrong person, a person who's following bad behavior, a person who's following rude behavior, a person who's not kind. So then what is happening? Everyone's ganging up with wrong people, and the world is becoming a difficult place to exist. So going back to the behavior, even if you're not doing anything wrong yourself, stop. My one piece of advice would be, stop supporting something that you don't want to do yourself. Don't even support it then. And start supporting the other side. And soon you will see that this side has surpassed the other side. And the world is happy, right? You won't need etiquette coaches.
Well, thank you. A lot of people, Manik, are also asking, where can they find you?
So I think the best place would be Instagram now, because I have my page, Mindful Living by Manik Kaur. You'll find me there. And I
And
think
I've also
I have
dropped
the
it
link.
in the chat for those people that were looking. But once again, Manik, thank you so, so much for an excellent, excellent session. I mean, truly, I don't know where the 1 hour has gone, actually. And sorry that I have actually extended your time, but there was just so, so many questions, so many situations. And we thank everyone for joining us here on Sipping Thoughts today. And we have lots of exciting sessions that keep coming up. So please do check out our website, www.sippingthoughts.com, and you will find our whole schedule there. Well, thank you, and I wish you all a very, very good night. Good night.
Bye. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very